And we'll go by my watch, and it's 1:30, so we'll get this committee called to order. If you would, Ms. Harper, call roll.
Representative Reynolds.
Here.
Representative Blackshear.
Here.
Representative Hall. Representative Bracy. Representative Easterbrook. Here. Representative Gibbons. Representative Lamb. Here. Representative Lee. Representative McCampbell. Representative Mooney. Here. Representative Sorrells. Here. Representative Sells. Here. Representative Underwood. Here. Representative Warren and Representative Witt. Here. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. If it pleases the committee, I would like to take Senator Orr's bill up first, and I know he's not here today, so I'm going to turn the chair over to my co-chair, Chris
Don't worry,
Blackshear.
I've been called a lot worse, Mr. Chairman.
Chris Blackshear, and I'll carry Orr's bill for him, and I'll have an amendment at the time, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Ms. Clerk, will you call the first bill, please?
Senate Bill 60 by Senator Orr, Criminal Procedure, Department of Corrections, Outstanding Warrant Check Procedures on Inmates, provided virtual hearings on inmates required under certain conditions.
Chairman Reynolds, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill is really about increasing communications between our agencies and the Department of Corrections. This bill would require the Department of Corrections to check for any outstanding warrants for an inmate under its supervision under certain conditions, and would require the department to serve the inmate with the warrant. This bill would also require that if a hearing is held pursuant to a required warrant check, the hearing would be required to be held virtually from the prison. The physical impact's unknown, but it'd be very little. I talked to Commissioner Ham, and it's something they can work out within the prison. And when you're ready, I have an amendment, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any questions first off for Chairman Reynolds? All right, who's offering the amendment?
I've got the amendment,
All right.
Mr. Chair. Replace line 31 on page 2 with the following, and these are in your packets, members, so if you want to follow along. Inmates, under certain circumstances, to require notification to the department of the issuance of a warrant or indictment of an inmate in its physical custody, and to further provide. Also, replace lines 43 through 45 on page 2, subsection 3, if the inmate is still in the physical custody of the, and then replace line 73 on page 3, subsection 3, a law enforcement agency that issues an arrest warrant or obtains a grand jury indictment for an inmate who is in the physical custody of the Department of Corrections shall notify the department of the issuance of a warrant or indictment within 30 days. And in subsection B, the law enforcement agency responsible for service of the warrant shall provide the department with a copy of the executed warrant and any related bonding documentation, and shall update the National Crime Information Center.
All right, do I have any questions for the chairman on the amendment? Ms. Hall?
Is that an often process, or
Is that a what?
is that often? Does that occur often within our system?
Well, it does. According to Senator Orr, that there's been kind of a breakdown there to where inmates have been released where there was warrants outstanding within the counties, and vice versa, that the counties would obtain a warrant on an inmate and they not know about it. So it opens up communications both ways.
We do have a lot of work to do on that communication side.
Right.
Representative McCampbell?
Question. I noticed they would have to notify them within a 30-day period. That's in your amendment.
That's correct.
Okay. And that 30-day period, if they fail to notify them of that, then if they release them, then there's no real issue, right?
Well, I mean, there's not. They can follow up with that, and at times, in law enforcement may have a reason why they don't want to release that warrant, and certainly that protects that investigative option as well.
Okay.
If there's no more questions, I motion on the amendment. Got a motion? Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor of accepting the amendment, say aye. Those opposed? All right. We're back on SB 60 as amended. Chairman Reynolds?
I ask for a favorable report.
Any
No
questions?
more questions?
I got a motion. Do I have a second? All those in favor of giving SB 60 a favorable report as amended, say aye. Those opposed? All right. SB 60 is given a favorable report as amended.
Thank you, Mr.
Chairman
Chairman.
Rose?
I'll take back over the chair, and I know you've got to head to another meeting. Call the next bill, Ms. Harper.
House Bill 304 by Representative Brinyark, relating to the Advanced Technology and Data Exchange Fund, expenditure of monies from the fund, creation of additional advanced technology and data exchange funds.
Representative Brinyark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, This is a bill for the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. It has to do with the fund that is contained in AOC, the Administrative Office of Courts. They have this advanced tech fund. What this bill does is goes in and it allows the monies in the AOC fund to be used by the AOC for any use, but for the general operation of the courts throughout the state, as determined by the Administrative Director of Courts. As it currently is, in the advanced tech fund, it's limited in how it can be used within the courts. This goes in and establishes a Supreme Court tech fund. What do they call it this specifically? It's the Supreme Court Advanced Tech and Data Exchange Fund. Then it also creates a Court of Civil Appeals Technology and Data Exchange Fund, Court of Criminal Appeals Technology and Data Exchange Fund. And so instead of going into the Advanced Technology Data Exchange Fund of AOC, it'll be distributed out to these within the court and be able to be used for the operation of their court. With that, I'd take
Yeah,
questions.
clearly in committee, if I might say, you know, so certainly AOC's budget is tight. They are asking for additional funding in this budget cycle. This is no new money coming out of the general fund. These are coming from court fees and existing established fees.
As I understand, it's a creative way for them to take what they have and use it better.
That's right. Any questions? Representative McCampbell.
This money is already in AOC,
Yes, sir.
and all they are doing is asking us to free it up so that it can be used for different purposes other than what it is earmarked.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And new funding coming in as well and be reoccurring.
Yes. Ms. Hall.
That's all Jeff question.
When you say to use in other ways, I thought it was separating them out
It does,
based
but-
on the courts.
It does. It separates it out per the courts, the three different divisions of
Right.
courts. But it also allows it for general operations, whereas before it was a little more limited. It expands their ability to use it within their court a little bit.
All right.
Any other questions? Representative Bracey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As far as like court fees and court costs, does this create anything in addition to what's already in place?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Motion? Second? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Your bill receives a favorable report. Thanks, sir.
Chairman.
And you have the next one too, so stay up there. Ms. Harper.
House Bill 285 by Representative Brinyark, Coal Impacted Communities Economic and Workforce Development Grant Program established. New fund created. Distribution of rent and royalties of federal coal lease sales.
Representative Brinyark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I'll say in advance, appreciate you working with me on this. We've changed this two or three times in the last few days, but I think we're back on solid ground now, so
Yes, sir.
appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Members, this bill relates to a new mine, a new coal mine that we have in northern Tuscaloosa County. This mine is Warrior Met Coal's new Blue Creek mine. And it's going to have 350 coal miners up there, and it's going to be in production for a number of years. We don't know exactly how long. And one thing you know about a coal mine is that someday it will end. Right now, it's going to be a boom. We're going to have a lot of new jobs, a lot of new creation of jobs, and a lot of new things coming into our communities up there. The workforce comes from Jefferson County, Walker County, Tuscaloosa County, and Fayette County. We're referring to those in this bill as the impacted communities. Now, what this bill seeks to do is take the federal royalties, because this is not just coal like we normally have in Alabama that we get the severance tax. This has been granted 2 federal leases by the Trump administration, and it gets federal royalties that come back to the state of Alabama. So with this bill, we're trying to direct the funds that come back so that the first $1 million each year will go to the general fund. The next $500,000 would go to the port, because all of this coal goes out the port, the McDuffie Coal Terminal. So it would go back to that. The next $250,000 would go to the Alabama Surface Mining Commission. Now, that's a commission that always is having to come to y'all each year and ask for a line item. This would take some pressure off of the general fund. And then it creates a program, grant program, where any overflow beyond that would go into this program. And it would be promoting economic development and workforce development in those impacted communities of Jefferson County, Tuscaloosa County, Fayette County, and Walker County. It would be for economic development and workforce development. There would be a 9-person board appointed by the governor, the lieutenant governor, the Speaker of the House, the President Pro Tem of the Senate, the Alabama Surface Mining Commission, the Jefferson County delegation, the Tuscaloosa County delegation, the Walker County delegation, and the Fayette County delegation, for a total of 9 people. These 9 people that are appointed to the board have to live in those same 4 counties. And it's hoped that by having this workforce development and economic development program fund, that when this mine does peter out, as we know it will, that the community will better be able to absorb the loss of that mine in the community. You look at cities or towns like Oakman in Walker County. When the mines closed there, it became somewhat of a ghost town. So this is something we're trying to create to prevent something like that from happening. With that, I'll take questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Representative Witt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, where in the bill does it specifically talk about this new coal mine?
Well, this whole bill, it relates to just that mine.
Just that one coal mine?
Yes, sir.
So how many coal mines are across the state that are active?
Many, but these will be the only federal coal mines.
But I couldn't find it anywhere in the bill this morning or regarding this particular coal mine.
Well,
I mean, I'm not going to hold up the bill or anything, but I would like a little clarification on that we're not taking from the other coal mines across the state, and you're talking specifically about one area of the state. Is that correct?
It is relating just to that one coal mine, yes, sir.
So off of this one coal mine, the distribution of revenues is $1 million that comes back to the general fund, just off this one.
Yes, sir.
500 to the state, Alabama State Port Authority, and then 250, and that's for
the surface coal mine.
The service of that coal mine.
The Surface Mining Commission.
Yeah.
Out of Jasper.
That's right. But it goes on until that mine
yes, sir. Each year the
discontinues operation.
Yes, sir. Each year the first $1 million would go to the general fund. The next $500,000 would go to McDuffie at the port. The next $250,000 would go to the Surface Mining Commission.
Okay. Yeah, we'll follow up later on with that, but I certainly don't hold your bill up because I understand the creativity of trying to find some revenue there, and I appreciate it coming back to the general fund as well at first. But just wanted to make sure that our other coal mines are.
As a follow-up to Representative Witt's comments, I should have mentioned earlier, but I think I went back and looked at the history of receiving those federal funds. The most we have received off that mine is about $1.6 million a year, and he will have an amendment to put a sunset on that in 3 years, just because I want to take a look at it in 3 years. It may expand, it may not, but we want to revisit it in 3 years.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
And how long?
Ms. Hall?
So how long has it been in existence?
They started production September 2 years ago. They're still not on the federal coal yet, but they made the hole. They started going. They're making their tunnels and doing their stuff. They actually had production, I believe, in September of 24 actual coal coming out of the mine, but it's still not in full production yet.
And every year we have committed general fund dollars in a separate line item to that commission. You go ahead and offer your amendment, sir.
Yes, sir. The first one is the one you were talking about, specifically replacing line 188 on page 7 with the following. Contrary, beginning January 1, 2027 and ending December 31st, 2030, the revenues derived from the payment of rent and then also replace line 190 on page on page 7 with the following. After January 1, 2027 shall be distributed annually as follows.
So I entertain a motion collectively on both amendments. Second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Okay, the bill is amended. Any other?
There is one more amendment from
Okay.
the Secretary of Workforce.
Okay.
And it simply sets out, he wanted to make sure that it set out how they were to be reimbursed. This whole program, the grant fund program, is overseen by the Secretary of Workforce. And in the bill, it provides them for some funding to reimburse them for that administration. And this amendment just sets that out.
Any questions on the second amendment? Have a motion? Second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, we have now adopted the second amendment. We're back on the bill as amended twice.
I'd ask for a motion of favorable passage.
Have a motion? Second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Bill receives a favorable report.
Thank you, members.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next bill, Ms. Harper.
House Bill 312 by Representative Hill, District Attorney's Plan under the Judicial Retirement Fund, calculation of service, retirement allowance, and disability retirement allowance revised. Limitation on amount of service retirement allowance compared to members' average final compensation revised.
Thank you, Ms. Harper, and I think Representative Sales, you're going to carry his bill today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill is a final step in creating parity between elected officials in the court system, district attorneys and the judges, and I think we have a public hearing if you want to move into that, sir.
We do. We'll move into the public hearing. Members, I won't ask you to vote on this piece of legislation today, but we will conduct a public hearing. And if you're through, I'll allow you to call Trish Melberg to the mic to explain a little more detail on the bill.
Good afternoon, Chairman Reynolds and members of the committee. This bill, House Bill 312, only impacts those district attorneys who are elected in the retirement system. It does not affect the supernumerary system, which you switched over to a retirement system back in 2016. So if I could give just a little bit of the history, in 2016, you created a retirement system for district attorneys. In 2021, you restructured the pay scale of the district attorneys so they would mirror those of the judges. In 2025, you amended that pay scale to further mirror that of the judges and also passed a constitutional amendment to provide for the voters to vote in this actually upcoming primary election to have the Constitution relating to judges and the Constitution relating to district attorneys mirror each other. This is the last step in pairing those two retirement systems. This would pair the retirement of the district attorneys to that of the judges. Currently, the judges have an annual benefit multiplier of 4%, and the DAs have a 3% multiplier. This would increase the multiplier of the district attorneys from 3% to 4%. However, it would decrease the maximum allowable benefit. Currently, for district attorneys, it's 80%. For judges, it's 75%. So it would decrease that benefit down from 80% to 75% to match that of the judges. It's important to note that the district attorneys are already paying an equal amount to the judges into retirement. As they're paying that equal amount already, this would just pair the retirement so that they would receive the same benefits. And so this is the last step in completely mirroring the judges and the district attorneys in their retirement.
Any questions, Ms. Melberg? Okay, we'll move into the public hearing now. I ask the members that we'll have two speakers, one proponent, one opponent, and limit your remarks to 3 minutes or less. And first one, my DA, Rob Bessard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm the district attorney in Madison County. I've been a state employee since 1988, and that's stunning to me when I think about it. And I was an assistant DA until 2009 when Governor Bob Riley appointed me district attorney. This bill does not apply to me in any way. I'm under the old system, and Representative Hall, I'm a supernumerary, but I think she can say I've done my job up in Huntsville. But this bill does not apply to me personally, but what I do take personally is the DA's association and the kind of people we've had in the association for as long as I can remember. And if you look behind me, many of these are the current DAs, and they're all my juniors in age. And it means so much to me that it continues an organization that is one that's attracting the best possible people. And when I look at how it's changed, I think that there are certain things that are necessary to continue to attract good people. And when you hear the change from 3% to 4%, if it stays the way it is now, it's almost impossible for a district attorney to come in and get what's a full retirement. So that 4% to me is key. And if you don't have it, I fear that good quality people that would be a wonderful district attorney will never get involved in the process. And I understand that you folks, y'all don't spend your time at the courthouse all the time. 35 years ago, myself and Chairman Reynolds were in court at the courthouse. But what I'm saying to you is, if you analyze it, the role of the district attorney, in my way of thinking, is such a key role. Judges, we hear a lot about judges, and I certainly consider them a key role, but I cannot think in any way why a district attorney would be treated differently by the state of Alabama in retirement considerations. And I would ask this committee to give it a favorable report.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard.
Thank you.
Opponent, Nia Scott, RSA attorney. Welcome, Nia.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to start off by saying that we are not opposed to the entire bill. So what the DA's Association, what they were discussing is the benefit multiplier increase from the 3 to 4%, and we're not opposed to that. We've worked with them on that issue. Their plan is so well funded, they can absorb that change without any increases in the employer contribution rate. The issue we have is there's an additional change in the bill for both the judges and clerks and the DAs. Currently, for both of those plans, the retirement benefit is calculated based on the highest 5 of the last 10 years of salary. That is in standard with ERS and TRS Tier 2 members. That's what ours is based on as well. This would change it from 5 years to 1 year. So we have issues with that, and we've discussed that with the bill sponsor, and we are still discussing that issue with them. First, it's out of line with how other public pension systems currently do it. We're not aware of another public pension that currently has a 1-year final average salary determination. And then second, this would also apply to the judges and clerks plan, which the new part of that plan was created in 2016 when the DA's was created, but they also have a legacy judicial plan, and they have a very high unfunded liability. And this would add about $2 million to their unfunded liability and would increase the employer contribution rate by about 1.38%. So we also have some financial concerns about the change for the Judicial Retirement Fund.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Ms. Scott. Thank you. All right, so this brings an end to the public hearing section. Any other questions for Representative Sales? Representative Sales, you can pass along to my dear friend, Judge Hill, that my retirement was based on 5-year average. But so no further action on this bill today, and we'll take it up. Hopefully, be back next year. Yeah, Ms. Hall.
From the retirement system, you mentioned that you had some other financial, or was that just a collective financial statement? What's included in that?
Talking about the funding for the judicial side. Currently, in JRF, the judges and clerks plan is separate from the district attorney's plan, and the judges and clerks plan have the legacy judges, and they're about 60% funded. The DA's plan, on the other hand, is 107% funded.
And that imbalance is where the concern is?
Well, the reason for the imbalance is the DA's plan was created in 2016 with no unfunded liability. So it's a brand new plan. It's also been funded at a higher employer contribution rate than even the actuaries had calculated, because we've seen In the judicial plan, it's a rich benefit, and you can get in funding trouble real quick. So the DA's plan had been overfunded. The judicial plan, you had the judges and clerks and their benefit that was created in 2016, but you also have all the pre-2016 judges in there. And so it had a large unfunded liability when the new tier was created in 2016.
Any other questions? Representative Ms. Brooke.
How would you go about making up that unfunded liability?
They pay a very high employer contribution rate, the judicial rate.
So they would eventually cover the unfunded liability?
I think they've got they're actually on a shorter amortization schedule than even ERS and TRS because it's a rich benefit. And so right now I think it's about 16 years is the amortization period for the judges.
Thank you, members. Next bill on the calendar, Ms. Harper.
House Bill 311 by Representative Underwood, retirement benefits, participation of qualifying sheriffs in supernumerary program and employees retirement system based on separate years of service authorized.
Representative Underwood, you can sit
Thank you, Mr.
right there
Chairman.
and do it.
I'm sorry.
You can sit right there and do it.
Thank you, sir.
Right,
This Bill 311, HB 311, I worked with both the Sheriff's Association and I worked with RSA to do the bill and the amendment that I'll have when it's time to call for it. And what it does is it authorizes sheriffs, if they independently qualify for both a supernumerary retirement and the RSA employee retirement systems based on separate years of service, then they get to have both and not have to choose between the two. And an example would be, like a police officer that worked his 25 years and qualifies, retires, runs for sheriff, and is elected enough times to qualify for retirement for that as well. And it does not affect the general fund. I just feel like if they've earned them both, I think they should have both. And so that's HB 311 prior to the amendment.
And again, it's just based on limited number of
very small
personnel it impacts.
Yeah, very small number.
Saul, you have a question?
Well, we keep getting back here to the supernumerary, and we've been dealing with this. And I think last week or a couple of weeks before, I was told this is it.
Nope.
But it sounds like it's not. I don't understand how.
Something we've wrestled with for years, and I think we're just trying to solve it now and go through each one of them that request that it be amended, and I agree. I mean, we're putting it back to where it was meant to be.
How many people are we talking about?
I've heard numbers, and I'm almost scared to say it. It's so small. I don't think it'd take both hands to count them. It's a small number of sheriffs. It may be less than 10.
Can we find out?
I can find that out. Yes, ma'am.
Because we keep getting this. Last week, or a couple of weeks ago, we did it. We said
it's kind of frustrating. We had talked about it years ago trying to fix this across the board, and that didn't happen, so we're having to come back and do it one at a time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you want to go ahead and offer your amendment?
Yes, sir. The amendment replaced on line 18 on page 1 with the words relating to retirement benefits to amend section 362264 Code of Alabama 1975 to authorize. That's line 18. The second change is replacing line 22 through 28, also on page 1 with the following. Section 1, section 362264 Code of Alabama is amended to read as follows. No individual may participate in both supernumerary sheriff program and the employee's retirement system based on the same service. An individual who independently qualifies for supernumerary sheriff program and the employee retirement system based on separate years of service may participate in both. If any sheriff is eligible for retirement benefits under any other county, state, or municipal retirement plan or act, then in that event, he or she shall select the plan or acts in which he or she desires to participate and shall so notify the proper authority no later than 60 days after he or she becomes eligible for any payments under this article. Provided, however, that such election shall not affect any such individual's entitlement to benefits under the provisions of Article 4 of Chapter 21. That's the amendment.
Any questions on the amendment? Do I have a motion on the amendment? Have a motion? Second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? We're back on the bill. Any other questions? Representative Underwood.
Yes, sir. We'll call for final.
Entertain a motion. I have a motion and a second as amended. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The bill receives a favorable report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, 'cause I've got 1 minute to get to another meeting. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.